study of corporate fraud. Protasco Bhd was founded by Hasnul Rabian bin Ismail and Chong Ket Pen in the year 1991. Protasco went IPO in Bursa, Malaysia in the year 2003. The joint executive directors each held about 13% and 13.14% respectively in Protasco shares as per Annual Report 2004. Chong Ket Pen is not the sole owner of Protasco. According to Bursa Malaysia announcements, he is a salaried director, which is a staff of Protasco, having 13.14% shares after Protasco IPO. Who was involved? The potential fraud in Protasco could involve 2 current directors and 2 staffs in Protasco, namely Datuk Seri Chong Ket Pen, which is the executive director of Protasco, Tan Sri Hadin, and Abdul Jalil, which is the chairman of Protasco, Datuk Kenny Chong Nen, which is the son of Chong Ket Pen and staff of Protasco, and Ho Chun Fat, which is the financial officer of Protasco. Who and how it started. According to Bursa Malaysia announcements, Chong Ket Pen was technically demoted on the 26th of June 2012, with few new directors being appointed by controlling shareholders into the board of Protasco Bhd. Chong Ket Pen is desperate and in need to find a new boss, or new controlling shareholders, for Protasco, in order to save his career and set himself back into the board control. On the 3rd of November 2012, Chong Ket Pen found 2 new controlling shareholders, Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi. Evidence from Bursa Malaysia proven that after Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi purchased substantial shares of Protasco, the newly appointed directors have resigned, and Chong Ket Pen did become the one and only executive director of Protasco thereafter. How was fraud discovered? The fraud was discovered by Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi in September 2014, when they were suddenly sued by Protasco Bhd. The element of fraud could be found when Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi were not informed there is an issue in the entire scam period designed by Chong, from the 3rd of November 2012 until September 2014, including the due diligence period, misleading second and third oil and gas addendum agreements, and the final scapegoat blame plan. Evidence could now prove that a fraudulent setup by Chong Ket Pen from the beginning is in fact true. Evidence of cheating and incriminating elements. Evidence was found out in order to victimize Protasco and invalidating Protasco agreement, fake statutory declaration and false police report were manufactured as an excuse to fool authorities on money trail hoax in order to divert attention from Chong Ket Pen's true intention. The lost of oil contract is now proven a fraud and cheating instrument designed by Chong Ket Pen, and becomes a liability of Protasco, which is still on the court today. Evidence of money trail. Money trail found out Chong Ket Pen had raised his salary to Ringgit Malaysia 4 million per year, and Protasco cash position had decreased after Chong Ket Pen successful put blame on the victims and take control of Protasco. By putting blame on Protasco share owners Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi, Chong's Protasco shares rise from 13.14% after IPO to about 25.5% today, worth about Ringgit Malaysia 100 million. Who benefited and took what? Chong Ket Pen is obviously the one and only largest beneficiary of the entire scam, while Protasco de facto controlling share owners Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi, Protasco, and Protasco itself, suffered huge losses. Ranked by losses, in theory, Protasco suffered the biggest losses. Assume Protasco being cheated and loss of $23 million in value, or about Ringgit Malaysia 90 million, out of original contract value agreed at $55 million, or close to Ringgit Malaysia 200 million. The loss of 36% oil and gas asset economic value estimated at $65 million, or close to ringgit Malaysia 250 million. Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi, which was induced and cheated by Chong Ket Pen, which caused them to purchase Protasco Bhd controlling shares, suffered ringgit Malaysia 100 million investment cost, and loss of Protasco enterprise value being the controlling share owners. The suspected sham lawsuits and character assassination tricks which cost Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi business suffer could be countless in the capacity as active investors across different continents and industries. Chong Ket Pen's negligence would cost Protasco loss of ringgit Malaysia 64 million, plus ongoing lawsuits and huge potential breach of contract liabilities. Lastly, the only person that gained from all these dramas is the one and only executive director of Protasco during material time, Mr. Chong Ket Pen himself. Besides having controls of Protasco worth ringgit Malaysia 400 million asset, Chong Ket Pen is taking ringgit Malaysia 4 million salaries, plus dividends and purchase of Protasco shares estimated worth ringgit Malaysia 40 million assume after his fraudulent plan success. According to Bursa Malaysia announcement, Chong Ket Pen's cronies are taking more than ringgit Malaysia 10 million fees every year. It does not take an expert to spot and find the real culprits and who took the benefits as the result of the fraud. Can he spot the fraudster? Action taken? According to the news report, apparently, police have found evidence that Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi are not shareholders or director of Protasco. The Attorney General and Judge had DNAA discharged the victims from all malicious charges. The culprits who fabricate false statutory declaration and use the fake material to file false police report are presumably under investigation. According to the court record, Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi had filed police report on illegally obtained documents used by Protasco lawyer and board of directors in filling for court papers. Chong Ket Pen, Hadin and Abdul Jalil, and Protasco lawyers were prime suspects and apparently under investigation. Such criminal activity is clear evidence of fraud to defraud Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi in the most extreme manner. Datuk Koi and Datuk Tay presumably would have reported police on Chong Ket Pen in breach of the 3rd of November 2012 agreement, which is also in breach of his fiduciary and statutory duties for not declare his personal interest in the agreement. Chong Ket Pen collusion with Protasco Board of Directors led by Chairman Hadin and Abdul Jalil for the cover-up and cheating of the victims Datuk Tay and Datuk Koi is another element of fraud and cheating, presumably under investigation. Presumably, Protasco would have intervened in the lawsuit, in search for contractual loss of $55 million, or about ringgit Malaysia 200 million. The loss of 36% economic value in oil and gas asset interest in Protasco, which could amount to $65 million, or about ringgit Malaysia 250 million, is yet to be reflected in Protasco case. What could have been done? Police investigation and prosecution on the culprits who file false police reports causing false charges on the victims, as well as culprits who involved in the illegally obtained confidential information, should be taken seriously by relevant authorities. Tan Sri Hadinan, which sworn and signed an affidavit on illegally obtained government information, presumably currently under investigation, should be restrained from being a director in any public listed company, especially Protasco. As the main suspect, Chong Ket Pen should be restrained from holding a directorship or executive position in Protasco. Chong Ket Pen and Protasco shall be liable for the $55 million breach of the agreement, and potential $65 million oil and gas economic losses suffered by Protasco. Chong shall be sued by Protasco or relevant authorities for fraud and scam losses suffered by all the victims. New independent board of Protasco shall seek negotiation with Protasco for the oil and gas asset dispute, which the asset is currently held by Protasco. The proper method to seek a settlement in the breach of contract, by taking responsibility and to do damage control, is what a wise board should do in making a proper commercial decision. Conclusion. Fraud happens in many ways. Within the large and small companies. Parties in control of the company could be criminals. Thief shouting theft happens. Look beyond and above the true intention of potential fraudsters. These frauds could result in a huge financial loss, incurs a legal cost, and ruin the reputation of the company. True criminal walks while victims suffer is not uncommon. The company should plan to reduce fraudulent activities, especially by directors and non-independent directors on duty with personal interest and agenda sacrificing share owners' interest. The normal business dispute would have gone through series of negotiation and to find a solution for a settlement instead of putting blame or finds a scapegoat. The fraudster could be spotted when a strange lawsuit or false police reports were filed for dubious reasons. If directors acting strangely by taking the law into their own hands without seeking sufficient commercial settlement in issue handling is a clear red flag and should be suspended and reported to relevant authorities. These culprits came with clear intention to defraud and scam company by putting blames on potential victims for personal benefits, be it power or money. Do you think Protasco case study prime suspect Mr. Chong Ket Pen, which fulfills all the criteria having personal gain in both power and money, is indeed a fraudster? As of the date of the study report, Chong Ket Pen is still in control of the ill-gotten ringgit Malaysia 400 million asset Protasco Bhd, drawing over ringgit Malaysia 4 million salaries, and God knows what else could go missing inside Protasco. Can he spot the big elephant in the room? What do you think?